You are raised from the dead by a necromancer. Instead of a slave, they just want a friend. There was a trickle of sensation at first, the feeling of air at my fingertips, the taste of dryness in my mouth. And the walls started to wear away, and the trickle became a flow. The sensation of eyelids closed loosely, the feeling of hard, smooth coldness beneath my arms, the body presence telling me that I was laying on my back, completely still, not even moving my chest. Sudden realization hit like a flash flood. The thousand signals to my brain telling me so all snapped into position. I was thinking and I was feeling because I was alive. And it started coming back, in order of necessity. I tried to curl a finger, and I felt it move. Dull, echoing, as if the nerves in my finger were yelling down a long hallway, but I was feeling something. I heard a sound, and it brought more with it. Louder in my right than my left, an airy sound that reminded me that people gasp when they are surprised. And each flood brought with it avenues of discovery, gasping, surprise, lungs, emotions. All started rushing back, and I couldn't think about just one thing I was suddenly remembering. I opened my eyes and saw white stripes of light in a blank ceiling, partially blocked by a man leaning over me. Fluorescent bulbs, buildings, hospitals, doctors, the head and shoulders that identifies the shape of a human. It was too much to handle. I closed my eyes and waited for the sloshing in my brain to calm down. Hello? English. Spoken language. Deep voice. Louder in my right ear than my left. Shaking and unsteady because that's what humans do when they're scared or angry. I opened my eyes and turned my head till it flopped over. I saw his face, and pondered it for just a moment before the knack came rushing back to me. Fear, curiosity, excitement. Written in the angle of brows and the parting of lips, another language I had learned at one point. Even I realized it had been a bad attempt. Slurring, slowing, my lungs and my throat were a mile away, but it delighted him. Did you say hello? My God. God. Oh my God. I've done it. It must have been your cerebellum. Dave, do you remember me? God. Religion. Faith. Exclamations of surprise. Cerebellum. Brain. Psychiatrist. Surgery. Frankenstein. Dave. The word shocked me because I didn't know it. It didn't seem to trigger a cascade like the rest. Instead, the associations came slowly, sinking through mud. What was Dave? Dave was a who. Dave is a name. Names are what distinguish people. He called me Dave, so I was Dave. Who was I? Who is he? Who? My voice was weaker than his breath. My eyes were locked on his, and I watched the rest of his face sag around them. He shrunk, just for a moment, and then perked up. Dave, it's me, Matt. You remember me, right? We met in high school. In Birmingham? Our mothers introduced us. We met at a company brunch. And he continued, running through the history of Dave and Matt, he and I, our adventures, our camaraderie, our friendship. I just looked at him. It wasn't coming back. As I stared, he started talking with less energy, and then slowed, and then stopped. Nothing? No. He stood up with a surprising energy, turned, walked to the end of the room, touched something. Part of the featureless wall opened. It was full of shelves, full of beakers. Each beaker had a small gray lump, ranging from the size of a golf ball to a fist, over 100 in total. I read the labels. Sarah, M. Cortex, Jack, O. Lobe, Chloe, Cerebellum, Dave, Amygdala. And this time the name did bring something back. The faintest whisper, the faintest trace of memory. The memory of a boy whose own mother said he didn't have any friends, saying the name over and over again with fresh excitement and longing. A lonely teenager you couldn't help but pity, saying the name over and over with practiced sycophancy and longing. A man you couldn't help but avoid because he would stick to you, like tar, and never let go, saying the name with burning desperation and longing. He returned with 3 beakers in his hands, 3 lumps of other people's thoughts and memories and emotions floating in fluid. Well, I've gotten over the hard part, he muttered. Should just take some tweaking. He reached over my head, and something clicked, and everything swept away. This story was written by Explain Your Fetish. Read by Bag Vicodin. Thank you for listening.